My name is Chrisanna Wright. I'm a registered dietitian and licensed mental health counselor. And today we are going to be cooking for one. We're going to be cooking chicken breasts, which I have here. Now, you can buy chicken breasts fresh at the grocery store, or you can buy them frozen. I happen to buy these frozen. And what I did was about an hour ago, I just took the package and I soaked it in water. And within an hour, they were thawed. Or you can also just thaw whatever frozen meat you have in your microwave under defrost. You just press defrost, you put in whether it's meat or poultry or fish, and then it will ask you how much you have. Like a pound and a half, less than a pound. Now, to make these chicken breasts more tender, I have a meat pounder here. And so I just went through and I pounded them out. So what this does is they're going to cook faster because they're thinner, and they're also going to be more tender. We're breaking down some of the tissue or the meat. Now, the other thing that I prepared beforehand is I've cut some onion, and then I also have garlic here. So what I do with garlic is I squish it. Let me see if you can see this. So I kind of squish it like that, and then I chop it up because I don't like to clean a lot, and if I'm using one knife with the vegetables, hey, I'm good. But if you don't want to do that, you can certainly use a garlic press. And garlic press right here, you just put the garlic inside, and then we're going to press it into the pan. So the other ingredients that I have ready are frozen vegetables. So a lot of people think that fresh is the only vegetable you can eat. Well, I wouldn't want to have frozen lettuce, but there are lots of vegetables that are frozen that actually have more nutrient content in them than fresh vegetables, because like vitamin C, it oxidizes. And so if you're buying broccoli that's been sitting out in the produce section for a few days, and it's been transported from whatever field it was grown in California or whatever part of the world, it's not going to have as much vitamin C as a frozen vegetable, because the frozen vegetables are picked and flash frozen right in the field. So don't feel bad if you're choosing frozen vegetables. They're fine. Okay, now we're going to start to cook a little bit. So I'm going to go right here because this is a bigger burner. So I just have a frying pan, one pan. I'm big into one dish meals. And I'm going to take some avocado oil, and I'm just going to put a little bit in the bottom here. So I'm going to turn on my stove. And so if you're using a garlic press, you would just press in the garlic into the pan. But then you have to wash this. So that's why I like to just chop it where I chopped it there, and then just put it all into the pan with the onions. Now, Emerald Lagasse always talks about the Trinity, and the Trinity is garlic, onion, and celery. I don't have the celery today, but you can certainly add celery to it. That would be no problem. Okay, we're hearing that sizzle a little bit. We're just going to brown this. Now, while that's cooking, I'm going to salt and pepper the chicken breast. So, I know a lot of people like to use the pink salt. However, this is not iodized. And what you want to do is you want to make for sure that you buy iodized salt, just simply because we need iodine for our thyroid. And that is why in the 30s, the FDA started to mandate that we had iodized salt. So I'm just going to put a little bit here. Put a little salt on the chicken breast, and then put some pepper. And you can put whatever you want. You can put curry powder on it, whatever flavors you want. You can put cayenne pepper on it if you like, you know, food that is going to be a little bit spicier. That is all fine. So what I'm also going to put into this pan is I'm going to put a few bay leaves because I like bay leaves and chicken. And I'm going to let the bay leaf, I put it into the oil so that it will be able to expand. Just the flavors in it, any fat soluble components in it will come, you know, true to the flavor. Now, I'm also going to add, this is a rosemary garlic seasoning. I'm going to add this to the chicken breast just to make for sure we have a little bit more flavor. All right. Now I'm going to add the chicken breast. I've only seasoned one side. So I'm going to season the other side. Now, before I do that, remember that raw chicken has bacteria on it. And so what we want to do after we handle raw chicken, we want to get rid of all of that and wash our hands. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're just going to season up the other side of the chicken breast. So this is pepper. A little bit of salt, just a little bit. And then I'm going to cook these chicken breasts a little. I'm going to brown them. You hear that sizzling? So we have it brown on one side. Let me show you. You can see how they look. Brown. Let's continue cooking them. I'm going to put the lid on a little bit. What the lid does, it's going to steam up and it's going to cook them a little bit more. So now let's open up our vegetables. Where did I put my scissors? Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to use a knife. So I have 1 bag of carrots. I'm gonna put in here. Now the carrots are gonna cook longer than the broccoli because broccoli is, it's more tender. It doesn't need to cook as long. The carrot is a root vegetable, and then broccoli is, you know, it grows on stalks. So root vegetables take longer to cook. I can show you how that looks right now. You can see that. Now, I'm going to take a little white wine just to add flavor and a little bit more moisture. Now, when you cook with wine, the alcohol evaporates. So all you have left is the flavor. So it doesn't hurt to cook even. There we go. Hear that nice sizzle? So a little white wine. Gonna let this cook a little bit here. Okay, do you have any questions while it's cooking?
No, so far so good. It's looking great.
Good. The other thing that I always cook with is I always have a thermometer, because if we have a thermometer, we're going to know what the inside of the temperature is. You want to cook raw chicken to at least 160 or over 160 for the inside of it, if it's raw. Pork, when you're cooking pork, you want the pork to be about 165 to, actually, we used to say 185, but I think that they've done away with that now. Pork manufacturers, you can cook to a lower temperature than the 185. The 185 was to kill the trichina worm, which came from, which was in pork when pork used to eat just garbage. But now, you know, pork is a big industry, so they get specialized food. They don't have the trichina worm anymore.
Oh, that's really good to know. I did have a question that I forgot to ask earlier. For the avocado oil, about what amount did you place? Kind of like just to cover the pan, or?
Probably so this is going to make actually 2 meals. And I just kind of put a little bit in just by judging it. I would say probably about 2 tablespoons of oil. But remember, it's going to be spread out through everything. So I would not necessarily count the oil that you're cooking with, because it's going to be spread out and some of it will be left in the pan. And avocado oil is good for you, you know? It makes you fill up. Remember, fat makes us fill up. Let's see where we are. We're at 140. Well, it depends where I put this in on the chicken breast already. So I'm going to show you, since we use the oil for cooking, I'm going to show you how to make a sauce. And so 1 cup of water, Well, we're going to put in it a teaspoon of broth. So this is better than bouillon. And this is what a lot of restaurants use, a lot of hospitals. They don't buy canned bouillon or box bouillon. They just buy this. So there's all different kinds of a soup base. So this one is called Better Than Bouillon. I've used it for years. And so the measure is going to be 1 teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon to 1 cup of water. Because we're gonna make a sauce for this. Just sit there a little bit. All right, so put the broccoli in. We're gonna still cook this a little bit. Now, we have our broth. Gonna mix it up a little bit. Now, to thicken it without butter, to thicken it without cream, because we used avocado oil in the bottom of our pan, we're going to add cornstarch. And so what we do is we take for 1 cup of liquid or 1 cup of broth, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. So I'm going to put that in there. And you have to have cold water to suspend cornstarch because the heat is what causes it to get thick. So these starch molecules with heat are going to absorb the liquid. So it'll look cloudy. See how we're doing here. Smells good. You see it?
That looks great.
All right. See where we are. We're up to 152. Great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour this on the chicken and the vegetables. I'm going to cover it and I'm going to turn it down to low. And we're going to let it just cook here for 10 minutes. We'll check it. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how to make a starch. And because, look, we've already got this done and it's only 20 minutes from start to finish. So let's do some rice. And we're going to use real rice, not anything that's ready to prepare, open the package, and that sort of thing. All right, so here we have some rice. And 1/2 cup of rice is going to make 1 cup of cooked rice. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a cup of water. And I just used the same container that I made the sauce in. So we put that in. And now we're going to bring this up to a boil. So your measures for rice are always going to be double whatever the solid is. So if you're making, if you want to make 2 cups of rice, then you would start with 1 cup. If you wanted to make 2 cups of rice, you would start with 1 cup of rice, and then you would have 2 cups of water. So the other thing that I'm going to do is so rice can have arsenic on it. And so what you want to do is you can measure your rice, and then we can rinse it. Because when you rinse it with water, you rinse any of the arsenic off of it. So, voila. I just rinsed the rice. Easy. Now let's check our water. See if it's boiling yet. It's not quite boiling, so I'm going to add just a little salt because salt helps it to boil. The other thing I'm going to add is just a little bit of, you can add I put in like 1/2 teaspoon of oil. And the reason I did, remember, carbohydrate, when we eat it by itself, it's the first thing that gets absorbed. It goes through the GI tract and it's absorbed in the top part of the stomach. So when I'm cooking a little bit with fat, this glycemic white rice with a glycemic index of 100 goes down. It goes down. It also makes us feel full. Oh, we have to put this in. So we're going to get the water to boiling. Any questions?
All good so far. Thank you.
Good. Let's take a look at the chicken breasts. Ooh. Oh, that smells good. I didn't know if we were going to have enough time to do the rice, but this main dish took 20 minutes max.
No, this has been like incredibly fast. I'm amazed. Like I could definitely see myself doing this, frequently.
That's exactly. That's what I said. It does not have to be difficult. And I think the big thing most people do, the mistake they make, they think, oh my gosh, I have to clean and cut up all those vegetables. No, make it easy. Okay, it's boiling. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the rice. So I have 1/2 cup going into 1 cup of water with a little salt. And we're going to keep it boiling for about 4 4 minutes. Gonna keep the rice boiling. Stir it so the oil gets around all the different grains of rice. So we're going to boil it uncovered because we're reducing a little bit of the water. We don't want to get the rice so it's like overdone. I'm making only, 1 cup of rice, so my times are going to be a little shorter. If you're making 2 cups of rice, which would be a full cup of rice, you would let this cook for 5 minutes. And then once we turn it down to steam it, it would be 15 minutes. But I think I'm going to do 12 with the half a cup because it's a smaller portion. We're cooking for 1. Check the temperature of these chicken breasts. Oh, nice. 175. 166. Okay, so our main dish is done. And let's look at the colors in this. I wish you could smell it. Really, really nice colors. All right, we're going to, it's not quite, let me see. I think I'm going to turn this down. Yeah. And now I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to turn it down to low because we just want the rice to steam now. And I'm going to set the timer for 12 minutes. All right, so that's all done. And we are now not even 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes into the whole preparation and everything. We have our entree done, and now we're just waiting the 12 minutes for the rice. So I'm going to hold the recording, and then we will pick up after the rice is done. Okay, so our rice is now done. Let's take a look at it. And you can see, remember, we started with just plain rice. And voila, now we have a starch. So let's plate up. Now, a starch serving is going to be 1/2 cup. And I think I used my 1/2 cup already to measure the rice. So what I do, I just take my 1/2 cup measure. And the other thing, adding a little fat to the rice, it makes it so it doesn't stick. So, oh, this rice is a little sticky. I think probably better cook a cup of rice, even though you're going to get 2 cups. Cooking small portions can be, it doesn't always turn out the right way, but it's not bad. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a chicken breast. Oh, let's weigh it. Remember, I tell you about edible portion. So here I have a food scale. I'm going to unit. It's in pounds. I'm going to change it to ounces. Okay. Let me get something to put this on. I love parchment paper because it's nice and handy. So this parchment, no, it's at 0. So you want to make for sure you tear it just like in a lab. You want to have your scale zeroed out. All right. So now we're going to take one of the chicken breasts without any vegetables. Remember, the non-starchy vegetables are what? They're free. So let's weigh this. And edible portion. Oh, it's zeroed out. Hold on, I have to tear, on 0. Okay. Okay, this weighs 8 ounces. So 8 ounces is going to be a wholesome serving. So 8 ounces is going to, have a good amount of protein in it. And I wouldn't feel bad about eating it, especially if you haven't had a lot of protein during the day. All right, now let's get some of this nice sauce and the vegetables. All right, voila, dinner. It's your day. Celebrate. Whoop, there goes one of the broccoli. All right. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and we'll do more of these for sure. Bye now.